these people were fighting and didn't want to leave this country, fighting to be a part of this country. So the speech you're going to hear from Michael Moore, I think, is going to stress that. Mission of the War by Frederick Douglass. An abolition war. Well, let us thank the democracy for teaching us this word. The abolition of slavery is the comprehensive and the logical object of this war, for it includes everything which this struggle involves. It is a war for the Union, a war for the Constitution, I admit, but it is logically such a war only in the sense that the greater includes the lesser. Slavery has proved itself the strong man of our national house. In every rebel state, it proved itself stronger than the Union, stronger than the Constitution, and stronger than the Republican institutions can possibly become. An abolition war, therefore, includes Union, Constitution, Republican institutions, and all else that goes to make the greatness and glory of our common country. On the other hand, exclude abolition, and you exclude all else for which you are fighting. The position of the Democratic Party in relation to the war ought to surprise nobody. It is consistent with the history of the party for 30 years. Slavery and only slavery has been its recognized master during all that time. It early won for itself the title of being the natural ally of the South and of slavery. It has always been for peace or against peace, for war or and against war, precisely as dictated by slavery. Ask why it was for the Florida War, and it answers slavery. Ask why it was for the Mexican War, and it answers slavery. Ask why it's for the annexation of Texas, and it answers slavery. Ask why it was opposed to habeas corpus when a Negro was the applicant, and it answers slavery. Ask why it is now in favor of habeas corpus when rebels and traitors are the applicants of its benefits, and it answers slavery. Ask why it was for mobbing down freedom of speech a few years ago, when that freedom was claimed by the abolitionists, and it answers slavery. Ask why it now asserts freedom of speech, when sympathizers with traitors claim that freedom. And again, slavery is the answer. Ask why it denied the right of a state to protect itself against possible abuses of the Fugitive Slave Bill, and you have the same old answer. Ask why it now asserts the sovereignty of the states separately as against the states united, and again, slavery is the answer. Ask why it was opposed to giving persons claimed as fugitive slaves a jury trial before returning them to slavery. Ask why it now is in favor of giving a jury trial to traitors before sending them to the fort for safekeeping. Ask why it was for war at the beginning of the rebellion. Ask why it has attempted to embarrass and hinder the loyal government at every step of its process. And you have but one answer: slavery. We can put an end to this disloyal party by putting an end to slavery. While the Democratic Party is in existence as an organization, we are in danger of a slaveholding peace and of a rebel rule. There is but one way to avert this calamity, and that is destroy slavery and enfranchise the black man while we have the power. While there is a vestige of slavery remaining, it will unite the South with itself and carry with it the democracy of the North. The South united and the North divided, we shall be hereafter as of until now, firmly held under the heels of slavery. What we need now is a country, a free country, a country not saddened by the footprint of a single slave, and nowhere cursed by the presence of a slaveholder. We want a country which shall not brand the Declaration of Independence as a lie. We want a country whose fundamental institutions we can proudly defend before the highest intelligence and civilization of the age. Hitherto, we have opposed European scorn of our slavery with a blush of shame as our best defense. We now want a country in which the obligations of patriotism shall not conflict with fidelity to justice and liberty. We want a country and are fighting for a country which shall be free from sectional political parties, free from sectional religious domination, free from sectional benevolent associations, free from every type of description of sect, party, and combination of a sectional character. We want a country where men may assemble from any part of it without prejudice to their interests or peril to their persons. We are in fact, and from absolute necessity, transplanting the whole South with the higher civilization of the North. The New England schoolhouse is bound to take place of the Southern whipping post. Not because we love the Negro, but the nation. Not because we prefer to do this, but because we must, or give up the contest and give up the country. We want a country, and are fighting for a country where social interaction and commercial relations shall neither be embarrassed nor embittered by the imperious exactions of insolent slaveholding oligarchy, which required northern merchants to sell their souls as a condition precedent to selling their souls. We want a country and are fighting for a country through the length and breadth of which the literature and learning of any section of it may flow to its extremity unimpaired, and thus become the common property of all the people. A country in which no man shall be fined for reading a book, or imprisoned for selling a book. A country where no man may be imprisoned or flogged or sold for learning to read, or teaching a fellow mortal how to read. We want a country and are fighting for a country in any part of which to be called an American citizen shall mean as much as it did to be called a Roman citizen in the Palmistic days of the Roman Empire. We know and consider that a nation is not born in a day. We know that large bodies move slow. A great battle lost or won is easily described, understood, and appreciated, but the moral growth of a great nation requires reflection as well as observation to appreciate it. There are vast numbers of voters who make no account of moral growth of a great nation and who only look at war as a calamity to be endured only so long as they have no power to arrest it. Now, this is just the sort of people whose votes may turn the scale against us in the last event. I end where I began. No war, but an abolition war. No peace, but an abolition peace. Liberty for all, change for none. The black man a soldier in a war, a laborer in peace, a voter at the South as well as at the North. America his permanent home, and all Americans his fellow citizens. Such, fellow citizens, is my idea of the mission of the war. If accomplished, our glory as a nation will be complete. Our peace will flow like a river, and our foundation will be everlasting rock.